Hey guys, welcome back, and I'm Immigrant505, and today I'm doing something a little bit different, and it's going to be a tutorial. Now, this tutorial is planning on making it a /fill and /clone tutorial. What we're going to do is, we're going to start with /fill. So we head over here, and we've got our two blocks, and basically how /fill works is you take the first block, and I'll show you how to select blocks in a second. You take the first block, and you take the opposite block to what you did. It only fills in squares, which is a little bit annoying, but you get used to it. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to select your first block, you're going to type in /clone, and you're going to press tab, space, tab, space, tab. You should get 3 numbers, no more, no less. Don't do any more, don't do any less. You get 3 numbers, hit enter, and it should get error. Now, we run over here, and by the way, down here it tells you how to use it, basically in simple mode. So you select your block across the square, so you do opposite to the square, opposite and corner to the square. Then you select this block. You always want to make sure you're looking at the block when you're pressing tab, so it's clone, and then look at the block, make sure you're selecting it, as you can see by this outline here. And then you press tab, space, tab, space, tab, space. 3 times you do that, so you get 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get 6 numbers, and you get an error there. Well, what's happening? Well, in this area, you need to select the block to fill it with. It won't automatically know that I want to fill it with red wool, for example. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to be like, well, red wool. And it's still there. Well, if you look in here, you can see that in my inventory, it tells me cobblestone, but then it tells me the number of the item. And also underneath that, underneath building blocks there, it says Minecraft cobblestone. So that basically means what it's called in the code that they use. So if you go down here, coal ore, sponge. So you just basically, let's say I want to fill it with wool, for example. And I'm like, red wool, and it says red wool. No, it says wool at the bottom, so it's wool. So I'm like, okay, red wool it is. So I delete this, and I'm like, that's stupid, wool. Doesn't work still. Why doesn't it work? Partly because I'm using /clone, so you want to type in /fill. And now it should work like this. So now I get my wool, and I'm like, that's not red wool. So I'm like, well, and that doesn't work either. So I go into wool again, and I'm like, oh, well, it says, and the numbers, it says 3514. So you want to look at the last number, 14. As you can see, all these different numbers go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to 15. So I'm like, okay, red wool. So I take that last number, 14, and I take my old command here, and I'm like, okay, red wool, space, and then you put in your number. So 15 is black, as we saw, and 14 is red, the color I want. So that's pretty awesome. I'm like, okay, that works. And make sure you don't make the mistake I did where I put /clone instead of /fill. That is not a mistake I've ever made before, but that has happened this time. Now, let's say you want to fill an item with, I don't know, saplings. So you look at these saplings, you're like, oh, that's cool. So you go, fill it in. You're like, oh, that's cool, but I wanted birch saplings. So I take a look at birch, and I'm like, well, it doesn't have any different things on the bottom, and I'll check my numbers, and it says 0006/2. Remember, always look at the last digit, and you're like, okay, so 2. So you take this, and you're like sapling, and then you go 2. Place OK, and boom, there's your birch. Now it's getting night, so I'm gonna set it to day. But the next part we're moving on to, if you don't get that, just ask in the comments and watch this video as many times as you need to kind of grasp the concept. But we're going to be moving on to /clone now. So /clone works a little bit differently. I've already set up kind of a grid area here. So let's just get rid of these. And we're going to be going here. So let's just start. So You're going to be using the same method here as the tab. So you're going to do /clone this time. Tab, tab, tab. No more than 3 numbers, no less than 3 numbers. Click enter and an arrow. You go up, and this time we're going to be working in a square, a 3-dimensional square. So see how it's like the opposite to the square, and it's kind of a 3-dimensional box. So if I went like this, and I built down my wall, and I went all the way through here, and I just built it all the way to this wall, I can see that I will be cloning from there to here. If you don't understand what I mean, I'll be cloning from here to there, to there, and so forth as a box. So I'm just going to be cloning all of this as one box. But to simplify it, it was just those 2 corners, which I'll change to red wool, as you can like tell what I'm actually using. And for example, red wool would be the only block that you'd actually use. So red wool, and I put it in. So those are the 2 blocks that I'm actually cloning from. So I grab this, and just imagine these are invisible, and we go /clone. These are 3 numbers, enter. Over here again, make sure you're looking at the block. Make sure your cursor, if you're way out here, you're looking at the block, but you want to actually select it. See how that black outline comes? So once you have the black outline, you can look at it, tab, 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 and this. Oh, it doesn't work. Well, you have to paste it. So to paste it, again, in your chat, it'll keep it in your chat just by pressing up arrow. It should keep it in your chat. So you move over, and we're like, okay, let's paste it here. So I'm going to paste it, and I'm like, well, let's use the same method. So we select the block, again, with this black outline that goes all the way around the block here, and I press tab, space, tab, space, tab. And I have my code. So I press it, boom, and I get my yellow box that I was cloning over there. Now, if you, just for example, in this video here, what you can do is you can actually set it to a repeating command block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control-C my text down here, which is copy the text, and I'm going to paste it into my command block, just like this. See? Now, if I just place that, it's not going to do it, right? It's already copied there. But if I go like this, and I put it to repeat on this little button down here, it'll change to a blue one. Whoa, but that's not all it does. So if we set it to repeat right here, oh, it didn't change anything. But if I go in here and I start building over there, it's going to copy exactly what I do because it's going to be on repeat. Now, don't just put a button. Make sure it's a redstone block or a redstone lever or something like a redstone torch that will actually continue to like constantly put a redstone out. Now, as you can see, it copied exactly what I put there inside my other block. So exactly, if I get rid of this, it's getting rid of it too. See? Now, another thing is it only selects in between here. So for example, I'm just building with my red, I'm having all this fun time, and I build out, start copying, because it only copies within this box. Now, normally it doesn't do this. If I turn this off, and I start building inside the square, oh, nothing's happening. Because this is the command block that powers everything. So if I turn it on again, boom, it automatically catches up, and I can start building all I want. See, I'm above the square as well. So if I go over here, see, it just cuts off because that's where I cloned it from. So you can do this in huge scale. There's a maximum, for example, I'll show you right here. There's a maximum to fill and /clone. I believe it is 30,000 blocks, which sounds like quite a bit, and you never get that high, but actually, you use it up quite a bit faster than you think. So if you just go like this, for example, and we go way up here, and we're like, woo, I'm gonna make this an ocean. Why not? So I go way up here, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this, no problem. This is 30,000 blocks. So I go here, and I'm like, what? See? The highest amount you can do is 32,768, and that entire selection there was 218,075. So you actually catch up quite a bit quicker than you would think, but you still have quite a big selection. And for example, if you really wanted to do that, you could split it into smaller chunks, and then eventually you come out with the same amount of blocks. But that's basically all I have for you guys today. I might be coming out with a few more tutorials, like how to install mods, or just how Minecraft works, or maybe even some more just vanilla Minecraft tutorials about how command blocks work, or what you can do in command blocks, or how some other commands work. But if you guys would like to see that, just give this video a thumbs up. And again, if you have any questions or comments about how this thing works, just let me know down in the comment section. I should get back to you as soon as I can. So without further ado, I'll see you in the next one. So see ya!